Alright, everybody welcome. You're hanging out with Ben. This is the Hardcore Punk Project here on the X. Today we have another Israeli band, Useless ID. The Israeli punks have been together since 1994, releasing 8 full-lengths and a slew of EPs, singles, and compilations. Most Useless songs reach as far back as the 1999 Fat Wreck Chords compilation, Short Music for Short People, me included, with their song Too Bad You Don't Get It. How accurately do you capture a band's evolution, which makes them special? Maybe you don't overthink it and just look at it as a set list. The band members are Yotam Ben Horen, Ishay Berger, Guy Carmel, and Corey Ben Yehuda, who you may recognize from Kids Insane, another Israeli band that I interviewed a while back. Most Useless Songs was actually released yesterday, May 7th, and it's their latest release. Ben Horen says, I think this compilation shows our growth throughout the years. Well, thanks for joining me here on the Hardcore Punk Project. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks
How
for
are
having
you?
us.
Yeah.
All right. So first off, you okay with the teen interviewing you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you, dude?
14.
I love that. So when did you get into punk rock?
Very young age.
I envy you. I'm so stoked for you because when I was 14, I was still like taping songs off the radio, like pop songs. I was like, yeah, that's the Madonna song I like. It took me a bit longer to get into this shit. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
But you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This album has 16 amazing tracks featuring the violin, the banjo, the piano, clarinet. Some tracks are full-on acoustic. What an amazing job. Wait, hold on a second. That's the wrong description. These tracks are pure punk, the way that they are supposed to be. They are not some bluegrass music.
No.
We won't have time for all the 16 tracks, so I picked a few that I liked. So let's talk about them, shall we?
Sure.
First one is the opening track, State of Fear. This song, I kind of hear a lot of similarities between the style of NoFX.
Huh.
Another, an iconic punk band from the US.
Huh.
Yeah, you know what? At the time, people like music magazines and music reviewers and people with opinions, they would a lot of times they would say, here's another band that tries to do the NoFX, here's another band that tries to do Bad Religion. But I think State of Fear actually, from the real time when it came out, people said like, hey, sounds a bit like that band Strike Anywhere.
But but you know what? The interesting thing with State of Fear is when we wrote it, I was in Guy's apartment. I was thinking Man Alive. It's this other band from Israel. I was thinking we need like a Man Alive type of song. So we were going for that. So what became of it is like it's interesting. Like to make its way to NoFX. I think it's so so far removed from NoFX.
I think it's crazy if a band like us does a song and we say like, hey, let's go for like a Sisters of Mercy, let's do a Sisters of Mercy New Model Army sounding track. Someone out there is gonna say, hey, it sounds like Green Day. You know what I mean? Like this is just I don't know. I think it's something to do with the guitar tones and how fast the drums go, and I guess yeah. But I think being traveling in many places all over the world, we've seen a lot of bands that really, really do try to emulate NoFX, and we've sometimes we may get like a NoFX moment, like in a one verse or one bridge, but I think we're one of the bands that were not doing the NoFX. Like we don't have like seriously, I saw a band play yesterday, and one of the guys had this thing on his microphone stand where you can put your beer, like you sing here, but there's a beer holder on your microphone stand, and I'm like, that's what Fat Mike does, So we've seen. So over the years, we've seen like bands that like, hey, here's the Eric Melvin of the band. And here's his El Jefe, and with our band, we hardly ever had that kind of stuff. Like we're just us. But NoFX is a great band, so it's better to be compared to them than I guess to
Yeah, I think in Useless ID, I'm El Jefe.
Yes, saving the band's live sound. I think that's pretty much what El Jefe does most of the time. He harmonizes perfectly with Fat Mike's vocals.
Yeah, and maybe I am Eric Sandin, the drummer, because I went sober.
Okay. What can you tell us about this one?
It's our like I think our hit to start with. Like for years, that would be the song we'd end our sets with, and that would be also the song where we'd have someone from the crowd take over the bass, so Yotam can just have the microphone and not have to play bass and sing like the rest of the set, because that's a song where the energy, would really go to a climate, I would say. Like the most if people don't know exactly all the entire catalog, a lot of times that's a song they would be aware of. That's our hit, and it's also it's also like a well-written song, I suppose. It has like a cool like bridges all over it, like instrumental bridges. Like it's written really good. It's like an anthemic song, where we don't always write these kind of songs. A lot of times we just like bam.
Yeah, and we worked on the lyrics pretty much together at the studio, so it's like a collective brainstorming of ideas. But I think it's also kind of like one of our first dips into like Israeli politics, even though we kind of, we sometimes go there, but that was like our first take at it. And, and with the later albums, we kind of like went more into that.
All right.
Yeah, it was written in a time where there were a lot of bus bombing in Israel, and a lot of like this mall and that restaurant, it would get blown up, and a lot of, I think a lot of from living here, a lot of people were like very upset, much worse than upset about the bombings and the killings. And this song came to say like, yeah, maybe we're all, like both sides, all sides, they all got it wrong, and we were just like, don't just look at at your own disaster, just open your eyes for like the bigger picture. So I think it has like the song came as like, hey, look at that shit situation from from above, not just like from the from your country's view. Don't just think about your loss for a second, but the whole Middle East wise, it's all very grim. And yeah, we wanted to send some positivity about the like why is it wrong, and how can we hopefully get a grip on the situation.
All right. Track number 3, the next song I picked, is Night Shift. I don't get it. Why do bands sing about, punk bands in particular, why do they sing about trucks so much?
About what?
About trucks.
Trucks, I think that's because they're on the road, and you see a lot of trucks.
All right. At least it doesn't get me in trouble with the YouTubes. Okay. What's this one about?
I will let Ishai take it away because he really loves this one. So Ishai, take it away.
About Night Shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Night Shift is a very sweet song as far as the melody goes, but the lyrics are kind of like they're not happy. They're not describing the best moment. So I like you know what I mean? I like how there's איך אומרים ניגוד?
Not objection, dissonance, like
yeah, there's some dissonance between the melody and the way the music sounds and the actual lyrics that are quite like you know, painting a picture of a relationship in a, you know, not at its height, not the best moment. And yeah, dude, Yotam had that song as a demo for the State is Burning album. That was the first demo we had for the album, and I was like, oh my god, this is my favorite song ever. Like I really loved the demo, and I kept, as the songs kept coming, you know, like more songs for the album were written and we were practicing and getting ready. Sometimes, you know, as in with album making, you go like, hey, so maybe that song does not fit with the rest anymore. But I was always defending it. I was always like, this one has to go on the album. I always
Me too.
like,
me too.
yeah, guy also. You know, we were also. It doesn't matter if the rest of the songs are gonna be about Z. This song is about A. We're gonna have them both on the album. Like this was so important for us, for me, and yeah, it's a great song. I think sometimes I see somebody covering it on YouTube or like Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful. No matter who does it, it's just it's a great song in my opinion. Very fun to play live, and yeah, I love that song, man.
Yeah, the interesting thing is I actually had written it for the album before Symptoms, but that was kind of like very serious and personal in a way as far as like the lyrical content, and I just felt it was out of place, so I kind of saved it from playing it for the guys. And when State is Burning came around, so I was like, hey, here's a new song I wrote. So sorry, I didn't lie to you, but but that was kind of like on the back burner. I just thought the song was okay, and I was like, maybe the lyrics are not the best, but the like that's my first feeling. But I was proved wrong. Like the song works, and it's you know, it's the magic of like these songs that you write in like 5 minutes that they just present themselves with lyrics and music, and you know, those are the best ones, I guess.
For me, it's always music first, lyrics next. Enjoy the music instead of reading the lyrics to find what it's about. Okay.
Yeah. But you know, like lyrics, they matter so much because when you get like the song, the melody, the chords, like one lyric will make them work really nice, and like if you try different lyric on them, you're left with nothing. I don't know why it's like that. Like certain lyrics lift a certain melody in a, you know, in a way that other lyrics could not help the music so much as much, you know. So I'm like you. I have the music has to hit me, but we have to keep in mind that without a proper like lyric that works with the music, we would not get into the music in the first place. Like if that song was on a different topic and had like a different, I don't know, angle, maybe it would not be as sweet to my ears. But yeah.
I get it. How would you describe your band to someone who has never heard of you before?
What would you guys do?
Well, I think we're pretty much like melodic hardcore in a way. Like that's what I would say about like the last album and what we enjoy playing most as a band, because we've tried like different directions in punk rock. We tried like going a bit more power pop at some point. We tried going a bit more like rock, but it wasn't rock. It was still like with the punk beneath it. But I think we're the best when we're doing like melodic hardcore, or melodic hardcore punk rock, melodic punk.
All right.
I would say we're a punk rock band that sometimes plays slower, sometimes faster, but most of all, just, you know, basic punk. I would say just punk rock band, you know. I don't know how else to call it.
Yeah, it's all about writing the best songs you can write and choosing the best ones and then playing them. The rest kind of happens. So I think We're a band that plays their better songs.
All right. Okay. What are your beliefs in the paranormal?
Well, I've had some personal things happen to me in life, but Corey, you have any paranormal happenings?
I think I've seen a sighting of a UFO once, but that's the closest I got. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm leaving it open. I'm not saying everything's possible. That's what I'm saying, basically.
All right.
For me, it always only happens when I say something and someone around me will say, "Oh man, I was just thinking about that," and I'd be like, "Oh, how could that be?" Or like that kind of stuff. Where like, how come we both were about to say the same very random, out of context thing, and that happens. So that's where I get like, oh man, we kind of broadcast stuff, between us without talking, and fuck knows how that's going on, but it does go on sometimes.
It just happened when you talked about State of Fear, Ishay.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
you said I couldn't say anything because you just said two things that I wanted to say about the song, and I was like, you just said it, so I have nothing to say.
Yeah, I think it happens a lot in bands and also in relationships, and at work possibly, but sometimes it's just amazing how like someone said something that you were just thinking, or done something that you were just thinking, and you were thinking like, I'm not going to say it because it's weird, and the next guy says it and it's like, oh man, is that paranormal? I'm not sure.
Also, language, you say, you're gonna get me demonetized.
Ishay, are you drinking a banana morning shake?
There's no banana here, but there's mango, pineapple, and strawberry. Yeah. What I do now is I mix it with cold water in the thing, and then I put soy milk on top of it, and blend it for like 3 minutes,
nice.
And it's pretty good. Yeah, it's good. It's crazy that it's morning now too, right? Like because it's almost 8 in the evening.
Yeah,
it's like 9
but it is morning.
Here.
For me and Yotam, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with you guys, even though I'm not.
Okay. How would you describe your band as a drinker of food? Here's a couple examples. Excuse me. Would you be the shittiest beer in a broken-ass truck driving through a mud bog? Or would you be a beautiful prime steak boiled in orange juice? Something like that, at least.
We are a burrito that was made in a place in Fort Collins, Colorado, called Big City Burritos. and we are the big burrito that a normal person cannot get done with, but the four of us, we can do it, and we put a lot of the most deadliest hot sauce, and that's our band. Yeah. And no
wait,
drinks,
we have to define ourselves in liquid. I would say we were horchata.
Yeah, and
it goes well with the burrito.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're a burrito and a horchata, and if you're still hungry, we're also falafel.
Because your record label is named after a falafel.
Yeah, and because for me personally, I go through like I think 5 falafels in a week. Like even the guy at the falafel place, he says like, "Dude, I'm not sure it's healthy. Like you come here too often." I'm like, yeah, I heard about it.
His mind over there.
I mean, I'm kind of making him money, but he's like, I don't want to get you, sick. And I'm like, yeah, it's too late for that. I'm just a falafel addict, dude.
Yeah, when the falafel guy tells you that you're coming too much and maybe not the right thing, it's a lot of falafel.
Yeah, man.
Okay. The next song is How to Dismantle an Atom Bomb. This is the first song that I downloaded, and for good reason, too. It also shares its name with a U2 album.
Yeah, we wanted to cover the U2 song, but there was too many problems with the songwriting royalties. So we just changed like a word in our title and did that thing. No, I'm kidding. I didn't actually even know of the U2 song. I think it's one of these things that your subconscious notices and just it's like stored in the back of your mind. So maybe I've seen it somewhere. But yeah, once again, that's dealing with pretty much living in Israel when when Israel has become a war zone. That's what the feeling was like in 2000. I think 14, something like that. There was like I was living in Jaffa, and there were like missiles above my head. That's how crazy it was. You go outside and there's these like sirens and alarms going off as if you're like living in this crazy, I don't know, like platoon or something. I don't know. There's this like I don't know. It was like a crazy scene. It's like living in the worst movie you can imagine after the COVID year. So that kind of made its way into the music.
Okay.
I never knew up until this moment that there is a U2 title that is similar or the same or close enough.
Yeah.
So thanks for teaching me something about music today.
Yeah, I think U2 had an album called How to Dismantle an Atom Bomb, and the song Vertigo came from that album.
But still, like, no one gave a shit about this album when you compare it to like Achtung Baby or Joshua Tree and all those albums. So that's an album that like many people bought in real time. But these days, because I work at a record shop, I can tell like we get a lot of used copies of it because people were like, why did I even bought that U2 album? And now we put it in the recycle bins, where you can get CDs for like $1. And there's so many of those, and people don't get it even for $1. So, I think we could have done worse with U2. If we would name our song like Rattle and Hum, that would suck. Or under a red blood sky, that would really that would be a mistake. But for that album, I think it's almost like I think one of their I want to say not popular albums, but still a non-popular album is probably way more popular than anything we'd ever do. But yeah.
Okay. Next song is Turn Up the Stereo. Turning up the radio seems to be a classic theme in punk and rock, and I think Autograph were the first group to make it big with Turn Up the Radio.
Yeah, I think there's an Elvis Costello song, right? Like Radio, Radio.
Oh yeah, he got banned from SNL for playing that.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Because he should have said like TV, TV, and he said radio, and they're like, no, wrong direction.
He was supposed to play this one song, but then he ended up playing Radio, Radio, and he got banned.
See, that's because he's kind of punk.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. This is, I think this is from where, that's from a time where there was still no Spotify, serious listening to music on YouTube. And soon after it would be there, I think like now we could have not written a song like that. Like I personally only listen to the radio if someone says like that one of our songs in on it, I would go like, oh shit, I'm gonna check it out. Like, but 94, 93, 2004, 2003, when the song came about, radio was really real still. Like people would do radio in their cars, and people did radio when they were making food. But I think at this point, everybody's like listening to a podcast or, their own playlist on Spotify or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were hoping for a pirate radio, I guess, at that time, like to have like some kind of an alternative to the mainstream radios.
Yeah, it was that song, and also the title of the song was, the movie Pump Up the Volume, Kristen Slater. So we were watching that movie at the time, and so it's like pump up the volume, turn up the stereo. So that's kind of like the idea of that. It's like, how cool would that be if we would just do this pirate radio in like a basement and like, send all these messages to underground punks, which is pretty much what's happening now with podcasts. But it's like that's kind of like mainstream, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh my, we're running out of time already. How time flies. But we're not done yet. We got like 6 minutes left. before I get shut down here. I'm gonna talk about one more song and then we're gonna head into the challenge. Does that sound like a deal?
Yes.
Alright. Now the one song that I wanted to talk about was At Least I Tried, which kind of reminded me of I don't remember, I think it was something from Blink 182. Don't waste your time on me, you're already the voice inside my head.
But our song is
That
older.
song was, yeah, that song is older than the Useless ID song.
That kind of came to my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
Just that
This is our. This is our. I think this is the song that our fans in Japan like the most. When we played that song in Japan, we realized about it. I think we played in America with the Vandals in San Diego. I think around 2001. Yeah. Or some shit, or 2003
or 2001
or something like that. And one guy came from Japan to see the show, and he said, when you guys played At Least I Tried, I cried. And then we realized, oh my god, wow, that's amazing. And then we flew over to Japan, and I could tell like everybody's really loving that song, and people always asked us to play At Least I Tried, and I love that song and so much. And the crowds in Japan, when we play that song, they really, the house really gets turned apart. Like they really love it. I think I've seen so many covers from Japanese fans where they sing in, and it's always cute as fuck, like really beautiful and heartwarming. It's our hit in Japan.
Yeah, I think it was the vocal style that reminded me of that. I think it was I Miss You. That was the song name.
Oh, okay. When we were recording this song in Orange Whip in Santa Barbara, I remember Yotam did something with his voice, and that wasn't like an overdub or a harmony. It was just straight up the lead voice, like the actual voice that sings the song. And there was something that was done there, like a manipulation of the vocal cord, that made me think like, oh my god, this is the best moment in music that we ever came up with. Like this is, how sometimes you like the whole song and that's cool, but sometimes there's this certain point in the song where you're like, okay, so this is like kind of like godly, this is like, untouchable. And with that song, I remember that moment in the studio. I thought like, oh man, our boy can really sing. And like when he did that note, it was just like, oh my god, like that's quite amazing to me, to my ears.
Oh, thank you. I actually remember that moment. Is it in the second chorus? I think it was like in the second.
I feel a second chorus there. Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember it was something over there, and you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's just like the best moment in our career until that, for as far as recorded music. Yeah.
All right. Now, since we're actually running out of time here, I need to skip all the way ahead to the challenge. Well, will you accept a challenge from me? It's a question that I've asked all the artists I've interviewed. 50 plus.
I want to say no, but I'm going to say yeah.
All right. Yeah. So with all the tattoos, especially Corey, goddamn, with all those tattoos, I chose this challenge for you guys. A cover of Karma Chameleon by Culture Club. Your style, uploaded to YouTube.
Did anyone that you interviewed actually like really done a challenge? Because Kids Insane didn't do any. They accepted the challenge, but we didn't do anything. So
no, only
are we going to be banned from entering Canada?
Yeah, only 2 of them have accepted the challenge.
Yeah, I think if we would play Karma Chameleon, it would probably go like, and then they come and go, right, Ishai? Yeah, that's kind of like how
I feel like because I have the verse in mind, or no.
Yeah.
So I think like maybe like an oi kind of vibe, like floor tom.
Yeah.
That boy George had a crush on Colin from Discharge.
No.
Boy George was really into like studded boys, you know, like Mohicans, you know, all that stuff. And in his biography, he says like one night we've done a lot of speed and we went to a bar and Colin from and Carl, I mean, I'm sorry, Carl from Discharge was there, and I was so into that guy. I was like, I really wanted him, and I was like, that's so cool, like Culture Club and Discharge, you know, having a something.
All right, we're
Yeah.
about to be powered off now, so quick thanks to the members of Useless Society, Yo Tom, who looks like Dave Grohl now that I think about it.
No, I don't. I look like you. I'm trying, but I'm too old for that, you know.
Yep. All right. Corey and Guy and Ishai, thanks for joining me. Stay safe and
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.